Hey, everybody. Welcome to NHL Nightly. I am your host, Jeremiah Maxwell. Thank you for joining NHL Nightly. With me is, not always, Hot Take Hockey, John Viveros. And we have, if you don't know, in case you don't know, he is an NHL insider. He is an NHL insider, formerly of TSN. Now he's with TSN Rogers Sportsnet. Now he is of Daily Faceoff. He's the president of the Professional Hockey Writers Association. You can find him right here on YouTube every day on Daily Faceoff Live, noon Eastern. I watch it every day religiously. He has the best hair in hockey. Oh, yeah, and his Eagles are in the Super Bowl. Frank, does life get any better for Philly fans right now?
Let's go, Frank.
Probably not. Great to be with you guys. Big fan of the show. Hope you guys are doing well.
Frank, we're a big fan of you. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah,
I really appreciate this. This is 18 months in the making. Before we get into some questions, do you remember? Let me see here. Do you remember this from November 13th? And I hope that this is not a one-off. I hope we get to do this.
I was going to say, going back to the Hall of Fame weekend.
Look at these handsome guys.
I took that picture.
Yeah. Look at these handsome guys. Anyway. It's good to see you again, Frank. I appreciate you joining us. You bring the heat, man. We're already like 70 people in here on 10 Eastern. I also neglected, you're also working for Prime Video, right? You're doing insider stuff for Prime.
Yep. I know Thursday nights, NHL coast to coast in Canada.
Yep. Sorry.
I got a full plate.
Yeah, awesome. And I didn't mention the DFO rundown. Although your host, did he move to Hawaii? Your co-host, Jason? No, just kidding.
Yeah, he's got the best all-time thing going on. So he missed 3 pods in a row. I said, what's the plan? He goes, I'm going to Hawaii. I'm like, but you know that Four Nations Faceoff, the break is coming up right after. It's like, that's checkers, not chess.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's going to get a nice little break when he gets back too, I guess.
The break after the break. I mean, he's thinking on another level.
There you go.
Okay, so I shouted you out. You saw the video. I sent it to you personally, but we have to talk about, is Friday nights the new TGIF? Like, remember when you were a kid, you looked forward to watching television, Family Matters or whatever was on. Friday night trades, you break the Mikko Rantanen-Necas trade. I know there's more to that. Then we get this next Friday, we get the JT Miller trade, the Vancouver trades. What's going on Friday nights, Frank?
I hope that's not the new normal, because usually I'm used to working Saturdays and Saturday nights, not as much on Friday nights. So definitely has thrown me through a loop, but it's trade season, so I'm ready for anything. It's crazy how busy this, honestly, not even just this deadline period, I would say this entire season. Like, go back to earlier in the year, way more trade activity than normal. And in a good way, I think it's been a fascinating season as a whole. I mean, even, dog days of the season, January, we've got a lot to chew on. Then you get a night like tonight, Ryan Hartman, 10-game suspension. Like, there has been something, it feels like every other day, whether it's talking about the salary cap or hirings, firings, you name it. This season has been kind of out of control from a news perspective. And I'm loving it, because I'll tell you what, there's some years where it feels like you're just dying for any drip or drop of something. And this year just hasn't been like that.
Yeah, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, I'm glad you brought up the Hartman thing. We can discuss that. And again, Frank, I know Jeremiah already said, but personally, again, thank you for joining. Always great to talk with great people in the industry, but including yourself. I know we met at the Hall of Fame event. So yeah, that's the breaking news right now, Frank. And I think obviously I know you'll talk about it on Daily Faceoff, and we'll make sure throughout the show, guys, go check out Frank's stuff on Daily Faceoff. We're very gracious and thankful that he's on here. And so Frank, give us a little bit of your analysis here, if you could. Just, I mean, from my perspective here, and I think it's already been tweeted out a bunch, this is the first double-digit suspension going back to Tom Wilson in 2018 when he got the 20. You're looking at 10 for a guy that I think they said now 3 times he's being considered a repeat offender for when they're evaluating him. So give your thoughts, please. And just, what do you think of the player? And obviously, I mean, I think some people are talking about that Raffi Torres category. I don't know if I'm there with Ryan Hartman, but where are you at with the suspension and Ryan Hartman here?
Yeah, I'd say closer to Matt Cook than Raffi Torres.
Fair.
And even Matt Cook is probably a little bit of a stretch. Look, Hartman has always had a little bit of a more than an edge to his game. And I just think this particular sequence itself, there's not really any redeeming quality to it. Like, there's no way to explain this one away. You had a face-off, you saw a player in a vulnerable position, and when you take him by the back of the head and essentially just stomp him into the ice or smash his face into the ice, there was obviously an injury on the play. You saw the cut on Stützle's face. It's not a hockey play. And I think that's one thing that the NHL Department of Player Safety really drilled down on here is there's nothing about this to suggest, hey, you know what? Heat of the moment, bang, bang play, hit happened that, no one was happy with. Sometimes things happen. This one, I don't know if it was anger. I'd hate to even try and get inside Hartman's head or understand what he was thinking or if he just saw an opportunity. And it was cheap. There's no other way around it. So I think 10 games is definitely warranted. This is his 5th career suspension. And I guessed 8. That was what I said this morning on the DFO rundown. Obviously, the league taking a bit more of a harsh stance, and I'm okay with that. Like, I don't have any issues at all with them trying to crack down on stuff exactly like this. Nonsensical, not part of the game. Message sent.
Do you expect an appeal?
I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but I don't really know on what basis they'd have to defend themselves here. Mm-hmm. He has a lengthy rap sheet, which obviously adds games to it. And this, again, for a lot of the reasons I mentioned, isn't a hockey play and is not really defensible. So unless you're attacking some of the procedure or precedential basis here, which I don't know that you really can, because this does fall into a little bit of a unique category, that I don't know that there's really much of a leg to stand on in terms of an appeal. And not only that, but it just seems kind of fruitless, I should say. So we know that the commissioner, Gary Bettman, has defended the Department of Player Safety anytime there's been an appeal recently. He hasn't really gone back on what that looks like. So if the appeal were to be upheld the first time around, then you can go to a neutral arbitrator. But by the time this gets heard, and by the time there's an actual ruling on the appeal, he'll have already served the 10 games. That'll go by in a few weeks.
It's going past the trade deadline.
Yeah, the thing is, well, maybe in this case, maybe you're right. Maybe because of Four Nations, there might be a chance to expedite it a bit. But the big thing for Hartman is $487,000 out the door.
Crazy. Wow.
That's real money. And it's different for Connor McDavid losing whatever it is, 85,000 or $100,000. You're like, yeah, okay. For him, that's pocket change. Mm-hmm. Ryan Hartman, that's serious coin. And so I wouldn't be surprised if there's an appeal just on that basis to try and get some cash back.
Yeah. We didn't expect that news to break right before he came on. I kind of thought it would come out earlier in the day, but thank you so much for speaking on it. I wanted to ask you specifically, and you talked about this, we got some salary cap certainty with the next 3 years. And I heard you say specifically that that might be the low end. And we have this Four Nations break coming up. Are GMs treating that Four Nations break like it's a trade freeze? And now with all this salary cap certainty, is that a big reason why we've seen some of these moves? And I wanted to ask you a little bit, do you think maybe some of these GMs maybe would have taken some of these trades back knowing some of that information?
Probably not. I think they're probably pretty comfortable in the deals that they've made. I do wonder a little bit about Rantanen, and maybe would the Avs, given what Rantanen has said publicly about being willing to take less, and also the increased cap certainty, if maybe they were just a hair too early on the trigger.
Sure.
That said,
that was what I was thinking.
Yeah, I figured, but I think they're probably pretty comfortable in the decision that they made. Still think it was the wrong decision. Look, there's only so many players like Mikko Rantanen in the world, and anytime you can get your hands on one, you find a way to keep him. I don't care what the cap situation looks like. I don't care how dire it is. You can always find better depth players. You can always find cheaper depth players. If your team's really good, you can convince more expensive depth players to take less. because they want to be part of a winning environment. I think there's always ways around it. So I'm never giving up on Mikko Rantanen. That said, the cap certainty is huge. I think it also opens up the door for some other trades that we maybe aren't necessarily expecting. Like, look at the Chicago Blackhawks and Seth Jones. I think for a long time.
We were actually going to ask you about that because of your trade targets board, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think because for a long time we viewed that deal as one that won't be moved. I mean, he was signed during a, kind of one moment in time for a few of these guys. Seth Jones, Darnell Nurse, even Zach Werenski cashed in, all major contracts in a 3-week period of time that we haven't seen defensemen get back to that level really since. So I do think it opens the door for someone like Jones, who is a good defenseman, but an overpaid one. Given that right shot top pair defensemen are difficult to find, and he's playing 25 minutes and 18 seconds a night since he arrived in Chicago, does that allow teams to maybe look at an acquisition like that a little bit differently? Does that allow you to, maybe think, hey, in 3 years when the cap's $113.5 million, Seth Jones would count 8% toward that number. Is that a reasonable enough number for a number 2 defenseman? I think a really fair question to ask. And then the next part is, what would you give up in order to make something like this happen? So Seth Jones, as you point out here, number 8 on my trade targets board today.
Yep. Links in the chat for everybody that wants to read that updated article by Frank.
Yeah. Appreciate that. And, I think this moment in time is really interesting right before we get to Four Nations. I put this list together, top 30 this morning, and I don't necessarily look at that and say anything is imminent, as in, hey, there's going to be one, deal that pops right here this week before, but you never know.
Yeah.
I was going to say, great segue to talking about the trade board. And I was going to say, we got 575 in the chat right now for you, Frank. So
nice.
Big shout out. Appreciate you being in here. So if you guys have
thanks for watching,
questions,
I'm little nightcap here. I got
there you go.
Little
nice. This
Weisers.
is non-alcoholic kombucha right here. So
there you go.
Well, it's still early there in Alaska.
It is early in Alaska.
6:14 here. Yep, absolutely.
And where do you live, John?
I'm Toronto area, so 10:15 Eastern time.
Yeah, we're all about Canada and America working together here on the Hot Take Hockey Show. If you don't
give
know,
me your
Frank,
hot take. So Jeremiah, tell me about how you feel about hearing the U.S. Star Spangled Banner being booed in Canada.
Didn't they get the deal done today? So we're okay.
For 30 days.
I feel like with this, I served in the military 25 years, Frank, probably not anything more profound than anthems, but you will find me on Canadian television with my hat off, respecting their anthem as well. I have video of it. When I went to the Leafs game, they caught me, Sportsnet caught me on camera, beard and all. That weekend I was there. So I wouldn't disrespect the Canadian national anthem either. I know there are a lot of people have lost their lives fighting for their countries on prospective sides. I haven't, my wife's family is from Canada. Her uncle served in the Canadian military. I just feel like it doesn't have anything to do with the players on the ice. So I feel like you're wasting your breath. Now, I heard Greg Wyshynski today on Jeff Merrick's show, also on the Family of Daily Faceoff and Nation Networks, say, just get rid of it. You remove the opportunity to boo. I guess I wouldn't be opposed to that idea. But I don't know. It's unfortunate because I feel like it doesn't really solve the problems that we're having. Not to get political, I don't understand all the tariffs and free trade stuff, but if you're Quinn Hughes, I mean, Vancouver has a lot of American players.
Well, Austin Matthews in Toronto or whoever it might be. Like,
probably
I
the
think
biggest
you're
American player right now.
Look, this is my view. Everyone's free to express themselves however it is that they want to. I think it's really disappointing as an American to hear it. And look, it was reciprocated tonight in Nashville. Nashville fans booed during the Canadian anthem, which also disappointing. Look, it's 2025. I feel like every single thing that we do is politicized,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think what I choose to do, especially as a really proud American who's worked almost exclusively in Canada for the last 10 years, how I feel about it is I just try and think big picture. People are right to feel however they want to feel. Would certainly never tell anyone what to do.
Sure.
But I think this is one small moment in time in what's been a beautiful friendship between two countries that, and Jeremiah, as a fan of history, which I'm sure you are, you'll know, and that probably have served right next to Canadians who have had our backs at the deepest, darkest times in American history. So,
Absolutely.
it does hurt to hear it, but I understand where people are coming from.
Yeah, a
No,
lot
for
of
sure.
people
That's a
won't
great
remember
point.
Canada was the first in the war in World War One. The U.S. wasn't in first. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, some of my best friends, Pearlo and Rico, they're not on tonight, but John are Canadian. It is what it is. It doesn't change how I feel about them. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't like it, but it is what it is.
I was going to say, for on a hockey and career perspective, Frank, and for me, I spent a lot of time in the U.S. for work and spent a lot of time working with Americans such as yourself. So for me, on the Canadian perspective, it's very much like on a career and like a broader perspective, just being able to be like civil and be able to work with both Canadians
we all
and
need
Americans.
each other.
Obviously,
like,
yeah, exactly.
Regardless of what anyone thinks, like we're all going to need each other to get through this. And I think at the end of the day, Americans and Canadians all want the same thing. They want freedom, prosperity, all those things that are all tied to it, and security. And, we've been each other's best friends for a long time. So got to find a way to continue to get there. And we'll, I'm sure brighter days are ahead.
No, for
Yeah,
sure.
let's hope. Let's hope. And equally don't like the Nashville fans. Didn't hear it, missed it.
Totally agree. I just think
it.
unacceptable. Don't need it.
Yeah. So
I was gonna say, I know we had the trade board up. I did want to get Frank, again, guys, make sure you guys go watch or read his article, watch Frank's stuff. So Frank, I know a lot of like veterans or rentals or some of the players you had on your list. I mean, Seth Jones, I mean, like I said, far from a rental, and Casey Middlestat probably fits into more of what I'm going to ask here. So a couple other guys that I don't think you had on your top 10, but maybe on list to come for you and just conversation. So Trevor Zegras has been like in trade conversation for the last 2 years. He's a guy I kind of want to hear your thoughts on. And another one, just because they're going to be so busy and Mike Greer is going to continue, is Mario Ferraro. So I did want to hear your thoughts on that because, I mean, we had it on the thumbnail, but also I feel like the Sharks are in a scenario where Mike Greer's kind of changed the view for Sharks fans in a large way, where 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, very frowned upon. He used his 3 retention spots. There was a lot of conversation and debate around that Tomas Hertl deal as well. I guess this could be a conversation about the California teams, Frank, and specifically the 2 that are rebuilding. What are your thoughts on those 2 situations and for the Ducks and Sharks and kind of the 2 guys I mentioned?
Well, I'll start with the Sharks. And I mentioned this morning on the rundown that I think Mike Greer has low-key had one of the best calendar years of any GM in the league. I think he's taken a lot of really smart, small moves and stacked them brick by brick on top of each other, and they're adding up to bigger things. I think they've found a way to check a lot of positional boxes. The fact that in the last year, they've gotten their goalie of the future in Askarov. They've gotten Sam Dickinson on the back end, the pick from the Erik Karlsson trade. He's been unbelievable in London so far this year. And you've got, of course, Macklin Celebrini and lottery help or, luck. That certainly helps. So you've got your center, you've got your defenseman, you've got your goalie, and then you've got now these other pieces that you can sprinkle in, Smith and Eklund and, Shakir Mukhamadullin. And all of a sudden you start to add all these things up and it's really starting to turn into something. Then you get a trade like this over the weekend where they're able to mine a first round pick. Yeah, it's going to be late coming from the Dallas Stars, but they were probably the only team in the league that could take on both Granlund and CC in one deal at full boat because of the LTIR space that they had. So they found a really willing partner in Dallas that made sense. And I think Mike Grier wasn't tough to really make something of the assets that he had because he didn't have any salary retention spots, which then brings us to Mario Ferraro and answering that part of your question. I think with where they're at, the pieces that they've already plucked off of this team, that it makes sense to keep him. He's a really well-liked guy in that room. And beyond that, he's a strong competitor. And I think
he's really good.
Yeah, I think there's some value there. Like they could get something for him.
I was just saying to Jeremiah, they could probably get a haul.
Not a haul.
No, you don't think so?
No, I think there's still limitations to his game. Like, you could probably get a first round pick, but it's not going to be much beyond that.
Okay.
And my thought is not to say that there's anything to sneeze at, but now you've already got a couple first round picks. Yeah. At some point when you continue to trade pieces away, you really eat at the fabric of your team. And I think he's part of the fabric of what they're trying to build, that I think it makes more sense to keep him. Now, moving south to Anaheim, I think the Anaheim Ducks are willing and ready to trade Trevor Zegras in the right moment. I think there's been some intriguing conversations. I think they've had some stuff that teams have contacted them. I don't think they've been seeking it out, so to speak, but enough interest has been there from other teams to indicate that there is a market for Trevor Zegras. But I wasn't really quite sure, and I can do some digging this week, how to handicap it or to put him on the board, because he's had such a weird year, right? He was hurt for a huge chunk of it again. And in the beginning part of the year, he didn't look right. He didn't look like someone that was engaged. And since he's been back, though, he looks like he's doing some Trevor Zegras-like things again for the Ducks, which is a huge positive sign. But it also makes me wonder, are they watching a little bit of this resurgence and saying, are we sure we want to trade him? So I think my long answer is my way of saying to be determined. I think they've got some figuring out to do on who's part of that Ducks core moving forward and who isn't.
That's a great answer.
Real quick, we have over 1,000 in the chat, 885 on X, on my X, at 187 here on YouTube. I so appreciate it. Yeah, I would just say on the Zegras to follow up, he's only got 575 this year and next. And the Ducks are 17 million below the cap right now. If you're Pat Verbeek, there's no rush here, right?
Well, there is a question starting this summer of, are we extending him?
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
And there's always that question. Like, are we going to pay Trevor Zegras, and what is Trevor Zegras worth? And his numbers would indicate not really much beyond what he's making right now.
But he's still an RFA though, right, Frank? Like with arb rights at the end of this deal.
But what you're buying though, very soon is UFA years.
Yeah, for sure.
Then it starts to get expensive. So my big question is, are the Anaheim Ducks willing to make a long-term commitment? Is Trevor Zegras part of the Anaheim Ducks' long-term plans? I'm hesitant to answer yes to that. I don't think so right now, but I could stand to be mistaken.
Oh, look, Johnny Lazarus.
Big shout out to Johnny Lazarus in the chat.
Trying to get on the show, Johnny Lazarus.
We'll get Johnny on at some point.
When I asked him to come on, not available.
Of course not. He's big time now.
He's big time, eh? I was going to say on that point, Frank, great point. And there's a lot of people in the chat, including Trent. Is this, for the Zegras thing, is this more about the players that are surrounding him on the ice? Or do you think this also could be a morale thing? Like, I know a lot of people, just based on the friendship, have thrown like New Jersey or Montreal into the conversation for Trevor. Is that where you're at? Is it a morale off the ice, or is it more who he's around on the ice?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think the Anaheim Ducks have reservations about whether or not Trevor Zegras is a one-dimensional player. Can he add layers to his game? Can he be a more complete player? That's one. Two, I think they're, as mentioned, trying to figure out, okay, you've got Leo Carlsson, obviously a huge part of it. Who are our other building blocks? Who are our guys on defense? Who are our other forwards? And looks like they've got one in Lucas Dostal in net, but who is part of the core moving forward? And then three, I think there is a morale thing. I think it's been difficult at times to play under Greg Cronin for everyone. I think the losing and constant losing year after year has weighed on some guys. Like, Trevor Zegras and that crew have been there for a little bit now. They've gotten a taste of what that's like, and it hasn't always tasted sweet. So that part, I think, does weigh on people. But I also think some of those things are easy to change. You can change the coach. You can have a team that improves dramatically. You can have a team that becomes a contending team for the playoffs. Like, there's a lot of ways to fix things, and he could also answer some of those questions himself about his own game.
No, that's a great point.
I actually get to watch a lot of Anaheim here. I watch a lot of the West Coast games. It's so easy to watch them here. I just feel like they get better and better each game. And I had a chance to talk to Pat Verbeek and just love that teams compete when they seem like they're in games. I know there's a talent gap, but the West in general is not really stacked. I feel like
I disagree.
Oh, okay.
I think the West is stacked. Like, I think you look at Edmonton and Vegas, and then before the trade, I would have had Colorado in that category. Dallas has played lights out. But
Frank, real quick, not to cut you off, but do you feel like Edmonton is better this year than they were last year? Because I don't.
No, I don't, but I do think Vegas is really good. But I'm saying if you take those central 5 teams in the West, right?
Right.
I'd say all of those 5 teams are better than anyone in the East.
I'm with you on that. I was going to say, I think where Jeremiah's coming from, Frank, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think what you're saying is 100%. I think the top 5 in the West, I'm taking over the top 5 in the East. But I think when you look at the East, I'm not counting many teams out into, like, I would say except for Buffalo in terms of getting back into the playoff conversation, where the West,
what does that say about the East?
Well,
yeah, I mean, maybe either more balanced or you're like worse competition.
Don't you think the East is closer together, though? I'm not saying there's one dominant.
I think what Frank's saying is there's just worse competition, so teams are getting more pity wins, maybe.
Yeah, I would say it's a mess. It's a muck of teams. But I'd say in the West, the distinction is so abundantly clear. Look how far away teams like Anaheim and San Jose and, throw in another team if you want. Look how far away those teams are from Nashville. Look how far away they are from being a playoff team.
Right.
Yeah.
And then look at the huge jump you'd have to take from Calgary, Vancouver, Utah, anyone that's kind of in that playoff bubble range, how far the jump is from those teams, which no one takes seriously, to then the 5 contending teams. And like LA would be at the top of the playoff teams that aren't contenders. I just think you're talking light years from the Ducks and Sharks right now.
Sure.
That's a great point. I was going to say, speaking of the Sharks and Johnny Laz in the chat, I know he's friends with Mario Ferraro, as Jeremiah has also mentioned. That would be a scenario where that'd be pretty cool, obviously, for Johnny. I was just going to say the reason why I was kind of on the Mario thing, Frank, is less. I know you said there's some limitations. I agree with you, and similar to Wallman, I think that's been the part where a lot of people have flipped on Mike Greer is guys that they actually took on as cap dumps ended up flipping for great assets. Like the Mikael Granlund one is.
That's the plan when teams take on these deals. But a lot of times it either doesn't work out or it works out in a way in which you're disappointed in the return. Because everyone knows that you're just trying to farm an asset and no one really wants to help you out. But in this case, they were able to strike. And not only that, but to be able to have a team do it at full boat, that's what's crazy.
No, 100%.
Yeah, let me ask you about that. I heard Greg Wyshynski say that was kind of the JT Miller deal, getting Granlund and Cody Ceci for Dallas. And you already mentioned Seth Jones. We'd love to see. I think because we know what Dallas has done with their drafting and development. Jim Nill has done an amazing job there. We just keep waiting for this team to get over the top and win a Stanley Cup or be in the Stanley Cup again since the bubble year. Do you feel like they've done enough here? They have enough to get themselves over? Or?
I don't think so. I think they're still a little bit ways away. I like the Granlund fit. I think the fact that he's played with Matt Duchene before, I think the number of Finns there will help a guy that's typically pretty slow to adjust. I'm not a Cody Ceci believer. And I think the one big thing is, and look, he's fine for what he is. Like, he's
a great penalty killer.
Yeah, I'm not knocking him at all when I say it. But this Dallas team on the right side of the defense was very thin, like not even close to cup contending. And I think you only have to look back to last year's West Final to show how much Dallas was 2 defensemen short.
Yeah.
They're worse this year.
Yeah, and then Heiskanen being injured doesn't help.
Yeah. So, look, I think they've got more work to do. And I view them trading their first round pick not so much as a signal that the Dallas Stars are all in, but more so as a signal that the Dallas Stars, with their incredibly smart scouting staff, have made a determination that this year's 2025 NHL draft class, they can't mine a respectable pick or player at that pick, that it's better off to move on and get something for him that you can use.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I was going to say on the Seth Jones, you just brought it up, Jeremiah. I've kind of brought it up with Dallas. Do you think, Frank, that it's a possibility they try to dump that Matt Dumba contract situation? I know he hasn't worked out.
They should.
Yeah.
I don't know why they went after him to begin with. I mean,
yeah,
we've seen enough to know that Matt Dumba's risk profile is not on par with any other coach's risk profile with how he plays the game. I don't know if there's a fit for Seth Jones now based on them making these moves. I think there would have been. And I think Seth Jones at any point in conversation with the Chicago Blackhawks has kind of always signaled, yeah, Dallas is the place I'd like to be. And understandably so. His dad is a fixture in the Dallas community, Popeye Jones. Totally get it. And I think if you could start to like take a step back and really view this salary cap and the increases in a bigger picture, yeah, Matt Duchene is going to be due a significant raise. Jamie Benn coming off the books. But if you could go Heiskanen on the left side and Seth Jones on the right,
it's pretty good.
I know Seth Jones has his limitations, but I still see Seth Jones as a very credible number 2 defenseman in the NHL. And I got heat for that today for saying that.
No, Frank, I
said today Marcus Pettersson is a 5. If you want to call him a 4-5, fine. I'm not going to fight you on it.
Yeah.
But I said in the same hit in Calgary that Seth Jones is a 2, and people were like, this guy's out to lunch. I'm like, put Seth Jones on a good team and you'll see how valuable he is again.
Well, remember how he was with Rowinski, when
he's just a $7.5 million defenseman, not a $9.5 million defenseman. Sure. And people get it twisted. It's like, not to use the same example again, but Cody Ceci, since we were just talking about him, Cody Ceci was crushed when he was on a 4-year deal at $4 million per. But then when he went to making on a 1-year deal and it was like $2 or $3 million bucks, I think it was in Toronto or wherever it was, all of a sudden it was like, God damn, Cody Ceci is a good player. And it's like, nothing changed. The player didn't change. The player has played the same way the entire time. Mm-hmm. But we always view players rightly or wrongly through the prism of their contract. And so,
where they're drafted too, right? Wasn't Cody Ceci like a top 5 draft pick?
I think he's a first round
up
pick.
there. He's first for sure.
So we look at Seth Jones and we say, oh, well, $9.5 million bucks. Like he should be playing at that level. Well, he's also playing on a team with zero help who's been out of it in training camp every year. It's hard to get up to play. I'm not making excuses for him, but when you got to do everything yourself and your team stinks, it just is.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's a great point. I was going to say, last point, I was just going to say quickly, and this is less of a question, more of just on what Frank said. I love that conversation, Frank, about GMs doing the value trick where you're bringing so I wonder if Jake Wallman gets flipped. If Mario Ferraro is not getting flipped, I wonder if Jake Wallman gets flipped. That was the only other point I was going to make, because I wonder how Red Wings fans feel about that, right? Jake Wallman's done amazing this year for the Sharks, and he was treated as a cap dump, right?
Well, we probably know that BU's own Mike Greer, by the way, they won the first game in the Beanpot, and BC's winning 6-1, so we will not have a three-peat in the Beanpot.
Colby is at TD Garden tonight.
Yeah, with Bucci. Awesome. Yeah, I saw it. One of the fans in the chat asked if you think the Flames are going to do another move. I think that'd be the final thing I'd ask from you tonight, Frank. I really appreciate you giving us
we're thankful
35 minutes of your time.
I do think the Flames are going to try and be active. Again, I think if you see another move out of Calgary, it's very unlikely to be a, hey, we're going for it. This is a rental type player that we're adding. If you see another move from Calgary, it's more likely to be something along the lines of what we saw, which is players under team control that are in the age range of the players that they'd like to have on their team moving forward, anywhere from 23 to 25 or 26, and guys that have upside. That's how I view Frost and Farabee. They've scratched a little bit in the NHL. I think there's some runway here for Morgan Frost as a center. Calgary desperately needs some scoring help, and I think the Flames are eager to see if maybe they could sneak in this most odd year in the West for a team that didn't really have many expectations. But Dustin Wolf is also dragging them into the playoffs, and I think Dustin Wolf's play, assuming, not that you can assume anything about goalies, but that this play from Wolf is likely to get better as he ages, that I think they have to change or consider a different timeline as to how they're building this. A slow build, yes. You're not going to go out and all of a sudden spend $100 million in free agency. You're not going to be the Nashville Predators, because we saw how that worked out. But to be a team that finds a way to make smart, meaningful additions, I think that's where they're at.
Yeah, just a caveat.
Sorry, go ahead,
Calgary, do you think they move a guy like Anthony Mantha? Is he back in time? I don't know if you've heard his name. I thought he played really well.
He's done for the whole year.
He's going to be done for the year.
So he's not going to be. He'll be looking for a job next year. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say one more viewer question. I saw this earlier, and then we'll let you go, Frank, because we've been really grateful for your time, and then we also want you to kind of go over everything you got going on right now for the viewers.
Sure.
But I saw someone put in the chat just about the Islanders and obviously Barzal going down and their 7-game win streak. Obviously, a lot of guys, including on your list, whether it's Nelson or
Frank, what's Lou telling you?
So, and I was going to say, on top of that, so exactly. My last point of that question was: is he the most tight-lipped in the league in that team in general, or is there another team that's really hard to get sources out? I know that's probably
he's up there. There's a few other teams that I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about, just because it's a waste of resources. I'm one guy. I've got 32 teams to cover.
Yeah.
You try and find help wherever you can.
Arthur Staples said basically the same thing you're saying right now on Morning Cup of Hockey with Laz and Carter.
Yeah, I don't look. I've had some great personal interactions with Lou Lamoriello, and I've shared a bottle of wine, and it's perfectly pleasant, A+ human being, but not someone that is a big talker. I would say the Islanders' 7-game winning streak was a mirage, and this Barzal injury, don't know the exact timeline, obviously indefinitely, plus the injuries that they've had in the back end. And by the way, Lou and his staff deserve a lot of credit for being able to find a hodgepodge of guys to add, whether it's waiver claims or Tony DeAngelo or whoever it might be, to do.
DeAngelo's look really good.
Yeah,
look good. It's going to overtime game.
I've said he's an NHL defenseman for a long time, but people want to let politics get in the way.
Right.
That said, I think to squander this opportunity based on a 7-game win streak to get meaningful assets for your team moving forward would be malfeasance. They need to trade Brock Nelson. They need to trade Kyle Palmieri. They should explore trading one of their defensemen if they could find a real market for a Scott Mayfield or someone. Don't know what his status is. And this is a time to pivot and transition, because this Islander team has received way more chances than many. And I'm also just curious to see what it looks like moving forward. Is Lou Lamoriello still going to be the manager of this team this summer and beyond? And does Patrick Waugh get to have any more say or input? Not advocating for it. I'm just seems like reading between the lines that is a natural progression. So I think they need a change. I think they had a run and they haven't been anything beyond what's been a fringe playoff team. And they've invested way too many assets and dollars into a very mediocre team.
Well, again, Frank, I can't thank you enough. We have 1,437 people in here.
Awesome.
40 minutes of your time tonight. Text me what you're drinking and I'll have Drizzly deliver it to you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
We have a new sponsor on Daily Faceoff Live, JP Weiser. So they happened to airdrop a couple cases to me, so I don't need any more. I've got more JP Weisers than I know what to do with.
Okay.
Throw it on the rocks and
the next time I see you, one on me then. You got to let me do that.
I appreciate that. Always a pleasure to connect with you guys, and appreciate your support. Love that you guys watch, and big fan of your show, and hopefully it continues to build here with your YouTube presence.
Yeah, 55,000 subscribers we have, Frank, because of this guy over here.
Killing
HTH, it. So I appreciate you, man.
No, and I was going to say, Frank, again, thanks. I know we met at the Hockey Hall of Fame event, and in terms of networking and talking how to grow YouTube, I know you guys are doing it. Can you please, again, in terms of being thankful and very grateful for your time, please share with all the viewers in here what you're doing throughout the week, what you got coming, maybe any latest stuff from Frank Seravalli.
Jeez, it's a long list. Got my hands in a bunch of different stuff, but obviously fly the flag at Daily Faceoff. And so Mondays and Thursdays there you go. You got the gear and the hat on. Mondays and Thursdays, DFO rundown with Jason Greger. That is on the YouTube channel and also wherever you get your pods. Monday through Friday, 12 noon Eastern, Daily Faceoff live with Tyler Yaremchuk. Also available in audio format.
Live, do that show live.
Yep. Once a week, we've got a Frankly Speaking one-on-one with some people from around the NHL. And then I got radio appearances across Canada on a daily basis.
Yep, I hear you on Kipper and Bourne all the time. Nick Kiprios is a friend too.
Do a bunch of Sportsnet, some Sportsnet TV, Amazon Prime, Coast to Coast. Chip in with some pregame appearances on Chicago Sports Network and Blackhawks broadcast. There's always something that I'm up to. So, rare to not be up to something.
Well, that's why we appreciate you taking the time out for us, Frank. Thank you again.
Yeah, of course. Great to be with you guys. Cheers.
Have a great
Frank.
night.
Appreciate it. Talk soon.
See you guys.
Bye.
Awesome.
That was great,
right, guys.
Frank Seravalli.
I was going to say, spam Frank in the chat, guys. We are very thankful for him joining the show. Let's get Frank going to the chat, everyone. I want to see all the viewers. If you guys haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. We got almost 1,500 people in here, guys. So if you could hit that subscribe, I got to give a lot of credit. Jeremiah, I want to give you this here because just to give you guys the background, Jeremiah and I'm super grateful, gave me the invite to go to the Hockey Hall of Fame event with him. We went to the Leaf game with Rico. I got there late because I was hosting for the Bulldogs, and I zoomed to Toronto, stuck by a light for about 30 minutes, but got there in the second period. We go to the event.
We got in.
Yeah, we got in. And so I meet the great Frank Seravalli. We talk. I know Jeremiah, I was like, you run with it because you are kind of following his show. And I actually check in with his show throughout the week. And I got to give a lot of credit to the guys at Daily Faceoff for growing their brand. But just to kind of long story short, Jeremiah, that introduction with Frank and being able to bring him on. So I got to put a lot of respect and appreciation for you doing that. And again, Frank, if you're watching, really appreciate you coming on. So yeah, guys, if you guys want more great guests going on, I know Johnny Laz, you and I have been in touch with him. So we got to get him on Talk Rangers. Johnny Lazarus, go check out their Morning Cup of Hockey with Colby Cohen as well. So I want to give those guys some love.
This Friday, we're going to have Colby Cohen on the College Hockey Show with me and the Degenerate Bostonian. 2 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Eastern.
Make sure you guys go subscribe to the Sports Beard on YouTube. And just, to cap off my thank you to Jeremiah and to the crew. I know the crew are joining here. Frank, thanks for joining. So make sure you guys go subscribe because with Jeremiah, myself, and the crew, we're going to try to bring on some more guests. And if you guys want more great guests on the channel, that's the way of supporting. And that subscribe button is free. Hit the like button, leave a comment. So I appreciate all of you guys. And also I want to give a shout out to the wifey, Jeremiah Scar. I saw that dono come in. I didn't want to interrupt Frank, but obviously thank you so much for the donation as well.
Yeah. Appreciate
That's my spiel. So thank you to everyone. That's basically what I'm saying. Thank you to everyone involved.
Yeah, it's awesome. It was good. John, without you, this wouldn't be possible. 1,468 people in the chat, 1,304 on X, 163 on YouTube, and we got somebody on Twitch. I love that too. I didn't even get a chance to check Instagram, so we probably had people on Instagram. Avi jumped in on Instagram to make sure we didn't feel lonely over there.
And I do want to say, I feel like Jeremiah, I know you saw it too, and you kind of gave me a couple looks. Like there's a lot of great questions throughout the chat. We obviously can't get to them because we have Frank for already 40 minutes is more than we even expected.
We kept them longer than we wanted to keep them. So
so we were really thankful. We got 2 viewer questions in, which I think was obviously great. If you guys have more questions for us based on our conversation with Frank, and we could try to elaborate, and now Rico and Pearlo, great hockey minds as well, and all obviously on the betting scene as well. So if you guys have any questions for us, we can definitely get your comments, and we'll throw it on the screen and try to answer. Sorry, Jeremy, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Daily Faceoff on X. Appreciate it.
Thanks, legends.
I knew we had some sneaky good people that follow me on X, that listen on X. So I appreciate Frank. We try to do the people that cover this sport justice and give them the credit. And Frank is the godfather. I wanted to ask him one question. Next time we get him on, I want to ask him who his writer idols were when he grew up, because I know one of them works in the same town he does. And that was the guy I grew up reading. So
I was gonna say we brought him before trade deadline, so I guess we'll have to try to bring him on before free agency.
Yeah, we got to get him on again. We'll definitely work on getting Frank on again for sure. Before he goes on vacation, because you all heard how hard that man works.
Yeah.
So it's not an accident that he's successful, because that man has an earthquake. If you're not familiar too, Frank's family, I think, worked in construction in Philly. So, that ain't an easy job. So he witnessed like hard work at the most blue collar level you can. So
yeah.
Anyway.
And I was going to say, without giving too many personal details, but giving him the respect that he deserves, is even during that week of all the chaos and trades, like we knew, and you knew from Frank, he wasn't doing so hot either. And he still pushed through. And I mean, that's part of the grind, right? And we got to give him a lot of respect.
Dude's suffering. He ended up being hospitalized with pneumonia. But he was suffering before he got to that point. He was sick at Lake Placid at a hockey tournament. He broke that Rantanen trade, which was amazing. Probably the biggest hockey trade we've seen in the last 15 years.
Be honest, guys. In the chat right now, all of you that are watching, I know you're watching, let us know how shocked you were, or if you were shocked when you saw that Frank Seravalli tweet come through, Mikko Rantanen to Carolina. I know when I looked at my phone, I was on the PlayStation 5 call with a bunch of buddies, and I just lost my mind. Because I had heard, we had talked about it earlier in the day about Rantanen maybe being in those trade conversations, but a trade breaking like 6-7 hours later was not on my bingo card for that week. Rico, Pearlo, were you the same way? And obviously, with all
before they go, let me introduce them to the 1,500 people that are in here.
Yes,
everybody. This is NHL Nightly. This is our Monday through Friday format. Rico and Pearlo are with me. The Degenerate Bostonian will come on to talk gambling. We have Rico is our goal scoring prop dynamo. He also speaks French and plays men's league hockey. So we have beer league stories for you there.
I was going to say Rico's hot. He had 3 in a row scores of the night. So you got to give him his creds.
Let me finish the intro, John. Let me finish the intro. Okay. Pearlo Wisdom, Steve Duncan. He's our handicap extraordinaire. This guy does nothing but handicap hockey all day long. And Pearlo, how many pounds are you down now? Tell the chat.
Oh, I'm just under 30. 20.
Hey, let's go. Awesome.
Pearlo's down 30 pounds working out. His goal is to get to what weight, Pearlo?
200 start, and then we'll see. We go from there. Yeah.
Yes,
there we go.
It's awesome. Pearlo is an Edmontonian, but he's coming live from Fort Wayne, Indiana now. And of course, like I said, this is a hands across the border. U.S., Canada, we work together. There aren't any tariffs on this show. We want everybody involved.
Yeah.
So.
I was going to say Monday night live, Tuesday night live, Wednesday night live, Thursday night live, Friday night live every night. So make sure you guys give these guys some hype. Really down to earth guys. They know their hockey. I think that's the best way to do it. And I think guys like Frank, and I know Johnny Laz is still in the chat. Like Jeremiah, I think we've talked about this. We love engaging with people that are down to earth and willing to have some good conversations, right? So I think that's the best part.
Puckheads.
Yeah.
We love the sport. Yeah, we love the sport. And I love the people that cover the sport because they're great people like Johnny Laz, like they're good human beings, like Frank Seravalli, like Colby Cohen. It doesn't matter where you come from, what your political background, ideologies, all that stuff. It doesn't matter. We don't care about any of that. We just, if you're a Penguins fan, I still love you.
Yeah. I was going to say, I do. And again, I don't know what order you want to go in, Jeremiah, but it's such a great conversation with the Hartman stuff. We got surprised. You and I were texting. We got surprised and we're like, hey, we got some breaking news. Not a trade.
I wasn't surprised by the suspension at all.
No, I wasn't surprised either. I was just saying more the timing.
I thought 10 was the top of what he would get. Daily Faceoff says, if you guys put out any clips from your segments with Frank, tag us and we'll retweet them. Thank you, Colton.
Okay.
I really appreciate you. But Colton was in the chat. He works for Frank. I thank you so much. Colton Davies,
Awesome.
shout you out. Absolutely.
So we'll drop some clips on X and YouTube. So we'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Laz is gonna give it to you tomorrow morning.
No,
he said he's gonna chirp you a little bit.
No.
For being too nice. But I was gonna say, Rico and Pearlo, and I want the chat to get involved because I know there was a bunch of comments we weren't able to get to. Rico, Pearlo, what are your thoughts on the suspension in chat? We want to pull them up on the screen. What was your prediction for the suspension? And where's your head at for Ryan Hartman? I'll throw it, Pearlo. You're off mute, so I'll throw it to you first and then Rico.
We didn't even get to that, Michael Rowland. I'm sorry.
Well, when I saw it, I was like, it was like WWE, man. It was crazy. That I don't know how you give. I know that a lot of it has to do with this, what he's done in the past as well.
Yeah, the repeat offender.
He's a repeat offender, but
yeah,
I'm not so sure you'd have to be a repeat offender there. You're driving a guy's face into the ice. I mean, there's no way you can talk yourself out of that. And it looked
if Trevor Zegras does that, he doesn't get 10 games.
Probably not. No, but I mean, come on, man. That looked even intentional to me. Like I couldn't try to find an angle where I could help the guy.
Yeah. I do wonder though, and again, I look at the season versus playoffs and Pearlo, Rico. I don't know. I mean, Rico, we're Leaf fans. We saw what happened with Matthew Nyes, a little bit WWE from Sam Bennett. I'm not to say that this is the exact same. That was more in play and behind the net. But are we really on the lens now of like they actually really do, or they're okay with hammering down the season, but the playoffs is a different animal. Whether you want to look at that or again, I'm making this very leafy conversation, but I know Rico, we also saw Simmons get double crossed to the face from Sherratt and Edmondson. Like things like that in the playoffs get let go, but in the season they're willing to put the hammer down. So I know for Jamie Benn in the playoffs and what Jamie Benn's done a couple times, that's a good example. I know a couple people have put that in the chat. Where's your head at, Rico, with all of this and what they I guess what they look at during the season versus playoffs?
Yeah, or Corey Perry in the bubble kneeing John Tavares in the head, and then
I mean, I know that's a debate on incident. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you.
We don't think that was on accident. I don't think we thought that was on purpose, though. I thought we thought that was on.
Like I said, I was more on the incidental perspective, but also Perry has a rap, so I mean, I guess it's up for debate on that. I guess
he didn't get suspended for that, did he?
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Hartman, it was a dirty play, but I think 10 is wild. No pun intended there, but pretty clear it wasn't a hockey play. So I got no problem getting 10 games there. Just awful, man. It's Stützle's a star. I mean, you saw Tage Thompson laying on the ice the other night, and guys came out in the Buffalo media today and said, "Oh, we didn't know. We didn't even see the play, or we would have went after somebody. We didn't know how it happened." But I mean, your star's laying on the goddamn ice. You start throwing fists, or you figure out what the hell is going on, not in the media after watching the tape. So, I think
Rempe would have got 20, Laz. Rempe would have got 20 for that.
Yeah. So I was going to say, I don't know if Johnny wants to clarify. It makes it seem like what Rempe actually got. He's saying Rempe was let off the hook. But I do want to say, I wonder if this does teach Hartman a lesson ultimately, because, and Jeremiah, you're speaking from a Washington Capitals perspective here. No, hear me out here. Tom Wilson, that 20-game suspension. Have we seen Tom Wilson do anything?
He's not even in the top 30 in penalties this year. He's not even in the top 30.
So that's what I'm getting at. It looked like he learned his lesson, right? Since
he's telling guys, if you didn't see the bit, and I'll try to find it before we end the show, he's telling guys now, I'm coming in, I'm going to hit you. Like, heads up. Like, he's giving guys heads up that he's hitting them, because he said these young players don't prepare themselves like they used to. Hey, Colby Southers, appreciate you and your daughter.
Big shout out to Cody Southers. Big shout out to Cody.
Cody, sorry. I said
you're
Colby.
Good. You're good.
I got Cody.
No, you're good.
Hey, so I started this one. It is my wife, but she wanted to know all very important topics. By the way, she would like some love for Rico or Pearlo to talk about Quick being the first American goalie with 400 wins.
Pretty cool. That was big time. Cool. Rico? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, definitely cool. I mean, Quick was probably going to spend the rest of his career in LA, and then all of a sudden the trade got botched to Columbus, ended up in Vegas, and his dream was playing in New York with the Rangers. So I don't know if he was a Mike Richter fan or something growing up, but I know I think he's from the area in New York. Is he not?
He grew up in Connecticut, but yeah, it's pretty much New York. It's like a suburb of New York.
Yeah, I know guys are played for the Sound Tigers in Bridgeport that are big New York Rangers fans. So yeah, no, that's great, man. It's nice to see Jonathan Quick. I mean, if anything ever happened to Shesterkin, all of a sudden the Rangers go on a miracle run with Johnny Quick in net, and they play the Caps in the first round. Could be the divorce cup all over again, eh, Jeremiah?
Rico, we're not supposed to swear on this show, so let's just not start with that. Ken Alicia says,
I missed that, but
it's based on some of the moves made in the past 2 weeks that caused any of you to change your favorite to win the Stanley Cup. Well, I picked Edmonton, so they haven't done anything really yet. I mean, they added Klingberg. We'll see. I think that helps them in some ways, but I don't know, man. I still, I still think the Rangers are going to have a hard time making the playoffs just because of where they're at. And it's not because I think they're a bad team. I don't think they were a bad team when they were losing, but they're going to have a tough time making it. Tampa has games in hand, guys. Now, I really think Columbus is going to fall out with the injury to, Marchenko, guy hitting the face with the puck, broke his jaw.
Yep.
Kirill Marchenko, awful. But Tampa Bay is a plus 34 team. The one I wonder is Detroit's to keep that first wild card. I still don't have faith in their goaltending, but they're 14-4-2 since McClellan took over. I had Edmonton to win the cup. Rico, who'd you have?
I had Edmonton and Carolina going in the final. But one other thing with injuries and stuff going forward is what is going on with Josh Norris? Like, he came back, he played well, scored a couple goals, and now he's week to week with a mid-body injury. What's going on with that kid?
Well, the good news is they won tonight 5-2 Ottawa, and I think they are going to cement themselves. They're in the third spot in the East, in the Atlantic. I think we're going to get a Battle of Ontario in the first round. This is going to be awesome. Hot Take Hockey, you got to be wilding about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, I actually just said it on X like a week ago. I mean, that would be crazy. I think it's one of those series again for the Leafs that it's like the Leafs have a lot more to lose than the Sens, right? Like I think going into it, like Sens fans are gonna be riled up and feel they're gonna win it, but it's one of those things like the Sens lose, like the Leafs have been right there for so long that like.
But the Leafs aren't out of winning that division either. They've only played 52 games. They have 64 points. They went out. And Florida, plays like they've been playing 500 hockey. I mean, they're 7-3-0 in their last 10.
They very much could still win the division for sure.
Yeah, if you're the Leafs,
Ask Pearlo who he wants in the first round matchup. The brothers, right, Pearlo?
Yeah, buddy. Florida.
Well, that'd be awesome, right? Like,
Ottawa, man.
There's a scenario where we could have a first round of the Tkachuk brothers, and then Toronto a rematch against Boston.
That would be awesome.
Or Tampa.
Yeah, but to answer the question, I think you have to put Carolina in a much better position. I mean, the whole time, how many 2-3 years now they couldn't score, and they went and got Rantanen. Of course, they got Gunsel last year, and they still couldn't score. But
Rantanen's not Gunsel. I mean, I love Gunsel, but Rantanen is a different. Like Frank said, we haven't seen a player like of his ilk get traded. So
So, I would have to put Carolina there as somebody that, as a team that I definitely would have to put up the ranks. But I'm still on Florida. I'd pick Florida. And I know it's going to be tough because you wonder if they're going to burn out by the end of it. But they are taking it kind of easy in the regular season. I think they're going to add to their defense, and I still think they're going to be there. So,
they've got to. They waived Boquist, didn't they? Wasn't that one of their defensive guys?
Yeah, and they got picked up by the Islanders.
I mean, purely offensive defenseman, but like he's been kind of breaking out with the Islanders a little bit again. Like I feel like he has those like sprints though. He not very consistent. I was gonna say again, shout out to Scar for the dono. And guys, we are like 5 likes away from 100, so let's try to smash that through because we have definitely over 100 viewers on YouTube. And if you're watching, we are about 15 subscribers away from 54.1. So if you could subscribe here on YouTube, we really appreciate it. Like I said, the NHL Nightly Show goes Monday to Friday. So definitely subscribe on YouTube and hit up these guys on social media. Those are in the description, I believe, right, Jeremiah? Or we can send it through, but we'll make sure we share all the time on X with all their social medias through SportsBeard on Twitter or Hot Take.
Yeah, at @beard_sports. All our stuff is scrolling in the bottom, so you could follow Pearlo, Rico, and myself. Pearlo is tweeting out his daily bets. Rico gets me his daily goal scoring props. I tweet those out. He gives me about 2 or 3 a day. He almost always hits on at least one that's at plus 350, plus 400. So he does a great job. Those guys are the gambling experts. I just like to be the hosting, and I've been following the game religiously since I was a teenager, and I don't want to tell you how old I am. So, but I'm old. So 1,513 in the
awesome.
In
YouTube and X, I guess.
On X, and 141 on YouTube, and we have somebody on Twitch as well. That would be 1,663 total. That's got to be getting close to a high record for the HTH. Even if you're curious about,
cross platforms, it's up there for sure.
Yeah,
I was gonna say big shout out to Trent saying 4 Legend. Big shout out to Trent and Johnny Laz. Johnny Laz says smash the like button, guys, on YouTube, and subscribe on YouTube. Big shout out to Johnny Laz.
Yeah, you can catch Johnny Laz covers the New York Rangers for Bleacher Report. He covers college hockey. You can hear him doing analysis for a lot of college games. And obviously he's co-host of, I think, the best morning show out there, Morning Cup of Hockey. I start my day every day at 5 a.m. But for you East Coasters, it comes on at 9. So it's not too bad. Him and Colby Cohen do a great job. I like to consider it they're the hockey's odd couple. You guys know anything about?
I was gonna say, is that why it's hard to get Johnny on to the night show because he's up early for the morning?
No. Because no.
I'm pulling his leg.
No, it's because he's busy. He's busy.
I'm pulling his leg. But I was gonna say, Jeremiah, also just to give a little shout before we forget, what else are we doing on the Hot Take Hockey YouTube channel coming up? A little Four Nations coverage, maybe?
Yeah, we're going to be doing live streams consistently on Wednesdays, probably for like a TNT game. So I'll be doing play-by-play. Every once in a while, you'll get John, who is the GOAT, as he's the GOAT of this.
I'm a little rusty, I think, but
you'll get caught back up when we're doing, and we're gonna do some live streams for the Four Nations Faceoff for sure. So I'll do my best to do play-by-play for you guys again. And to chat and to just BS. It's a great, I found this community when I needed it the most, to find a bunch of people that are just diehard hockey fans, and we can come together and talk hockey. We don't always agree, but we can just talk hockey and love each other for our fandom of the greatest sport on. I always throw back to the old NHL thing, the coolest game on ice, the coolest game on earth, hockey. 100%. So, we got a new member.
PP, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hey, PP, the return to membership. I was going to say, let's do, if you guys are down for this, Jeremiah, I was going to say maybe 5 to 10 minutes of Q&A from the chat, since we didn't get to enough maybe. And then I'll hop off and let you guys run with the bets and the games. That works for you guys?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, cool.
Sure.
All right, let's pull up some questions. So Jack, shout out to you, says, what are some under the radar defensemen that teams could pick up for depth for a playoff run? Well, Jeremiah had another good one. I don't want to speak for him, but you had brought up Josh Mahura. Guys like that, I feel like, are a guy has Stanley Cup experience. Seattle's probably going to trade off some guys. I feel like that's a good example. Where are you at, Jeremiah, for under the radar defenseman?
Well, you said Mahura. Did you want me to give somebody else, or?
Well, no, I was thinking, give a couple answers.
I
knew you got one.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared.
No, that's good.
I was
Rico, you got one?
There would be no math. No,
no, if you don't got one, I got my answer for you in there. We can do the next question. I'm just saying, I think it's good to kind of.
I asked about Mantha because I thought if he was going to be healthy towards the end of the year or even in the playoff time, he'd be a nice add because he's a big body
for under the radar players in general, I guess.
Yeah. The problem, I think, right now is we have so many teams in it. What about a team like St. Louis parting ways with like a Nick Leddy or something if they move on? But he has a no trade clause, so I don't know. You know what
I was going to ask Frank, actually, and Jeremiah, maybe this is a conversation for another day, but with the NBA overshadowing lately with some of these trades, do the NHL, like as a league, do they have too many no trade clauses? Like the NBA, I feel like just they don't. Like you could see a star player traded like nothing.
Yeah, we just saw Anthony Davis.
Like
we just saw Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic traded for each other, and Travis Hamonic has a no trade clause. Like I don't know, man. I kind of with you on that, but I will say this too.
Sorry,
go ahead, Pearlo.
I was saying I'll put a player out there that I really love. That's Connor Murphy from Chicago. I love that guy.
There you go. I like that pick.
Connor Murphy from Chicago would be a guy I'd be looking at.
I think, and giving another shout out to the Daily Faceoff, we're appreciative of them tonight and thankful for Frank. I believe Tyler Yaremchuk, when he was talking about the Oilers in the article, I think we talked about it, Jeremiah, he had Connor Murphy for the Oilers, Pearlo as a target, and he also had Jamie Alexiak.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great. I like, yeah, awesome.
So
Alexiak is a big body that can move the puck.
Yeah.
If I'm Seattle, I don't get rid of him. But honestly, if you can get something good back for him, it's a good. I see Johnny Lazarus trolling.
Yeah, and I was gonna say because they have obviously Larson extended now and done long term. That's where my head's at. Maybe we'll see. I guess we'll see. But are we gonna address it?
No,
Jeremiah?
we're not going to address it. It's idiotic.
No,
it's idiotic. It's idiotic. We're not addressing it.
That's too tough of a.
Pearlo's saying it's tough. Pearlo's saying it's tough.
I think I'd probably lean Ovi, but
I'm leaning Ovi. But I think it's clear. I know Ovi's your bread and butter and the love in hockey, but I will say it's closer for two reasons. One, because we do celebrate championships and winning. And I know
how many Hall of Famers has Ovi played with?
No, I know.
0.
I'm with you. Trust me, I'm with you.
No.
I'm with you on that.
This is my argument all the time. How many Hall of Famers has Sidney Crosby played with? First of all, they don't even play the same position. Now, Kane and Ovechkin, you could make a little bit of a comparison because Kane is a right wing.
Yeah.
I mean, Ovi is playing the right wing, has played some of his better years at the right wing, whenever he's left wing. I don't want to. Why are we doing this? We have so much to talk about. We have 14 games to preview tomorrow. So, I just don't want to.
Johnny, I'm trying to get him fired up, man. It's hot take hockey. We're trying to get him riled up.
I don't want to do it. This is what we do in the summer when we have nothing else to talk about. Yeah.
Fair enough.
3 cups with Hall of Famer Duncan Keith, Hall of Famer Jonathan Taves. Yeah, and a lot of other Hall of Famer Marian Hossa. Yeah, name the 3 Hall of Famers that Ovechkin played with in his prime, Johnny Lazarus. Name the 3 Hall of Famers. No, I think Nick Backstrom will be in the...
Nick Backstrom for sure. I think so.
Nick Backstrom will be in the runnings. Maybe gets in, but I doubt it. I think
he eventually gets in.
TJ Oshie will get in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame for sure. That's it. That's it from those teams, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
I will say... I'm with you. I think the Caps have a lot of like borderline guys. Like, for example, I don't think he'll ever get in, but like John Carlson for me is one of the most underrated.
Holtby's not a Hall of Famer, Jordan. I love you. He had one amazing year.
Yeah, I think Backstrom's
in.
I think Backstrom's in. I think Backstrom's in.
He won't get in.
No, I think so.
He wasn't even. I don't think he'll get in. I think if you look at his numbers, he won't get in. He's not going to be considered one of the best centers. He's just not. I love him as a player, but he never was a top 5. I think he was a top 5 Selke finalist a couple of times, but he's not going to get in. I don't think he'll get in. So let's get Rico back in here.
I think here's my argument for why he's in, Jeremiah. I think he has over 100 playoff points. He's played 100, almost 50 playoff games, I believe. He's played over 1,100 games. He has over 1,000 points. That's usually the threshold. I think if you get over 1,000 points, over 1,100 games,
he might get it.
I think with the Stanley Cup, I don't think he won a World Juniors, but I remember him playing really well in the World Juniors. But anyways, besides the point, I think
he wasn't on the. Was he on the 2006 gold medal team for Sweden?
That's what I thought. I thought he was on. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought he was. I swear I've seen a picture and I remember going back on highlights of Backstrom winning a World Juniors.
I'll look at their roster right now because I don't think he was. I think he was. I do not think he was.
I thought he was. Team. And Sweden's had one World Juniors win in the last like 40, 50 years.
Yeah, he was not on that team. You have Daniel Alfredson, Matt Sundin, PJ Axelson.
What year was that though?
2006. Come on, I'm reading it right now.
He was on the World Juniors 2006. I'm telling you.
This is the gold medal men's team I'm talking about.
Oh,
the men's gold medal.
No, I'm talking about the World Juniors.
World Juniors means nothing.
It's still
the only people that care about World Juniors. No, you're not making the Hall of Fame because you.
I'm not saying no. I'm not saying that's a main contributor. I'm just saying that you have to also look at the nationality. He's one of the better Swedish NHL players in the last.
I
10,
hate
15
you, Johnny
years.
Lazarus. Shut up.
No, I think it's a great conversation. I think Backstrom's a Hall of Famer.
Okay, but my argument of how many Hall of Famers Ovi's played with, it's not as many. Look who Sid's played with: Fleury, Malkin, Letang. Now you could throw Carlson, Agenla, Bill Guerin. Bill Guerin should be in the Hall of Fame. He'll get in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame if he's not already, because anybody that was on that 96 Canada Cup where U.S. beat the best Canadian team ever, yeah, you forgot that, and that was a best of 3. Bill Guerin was on that team. So was Mike Richter, by the way. Jonathan, if we get it back to Jonathan quick. Anyway, I don't want to waste any.
Also, sorry, I do just want to correct myself. I always like to fact check if I'm wrong. Sorry, Backstrom didn't win a World Junior, but I was trying to just add it up to the whole conversation.
He's not getting it. I don't think
he played for Sweden twice in the World Juniors, but I think he's in over 1,000 NHL points, over 1,100 NHL games. Jeremiah, you got to be pro Caps here, man. Come on, he's in. He's a Hall of Famer.
No, Blended. I don't drink really, so but I appreciate it.
So
this is a water and kombucha here.
All right, a couple more questions, and I'll head off, and then I'll let you guys run with the games because I know it's getting late. Not for you, Jeremiah, but I know the other guys.
They're on the East Coast time.
So Jack's making the argument if Letang's a Hall of Famer, John Carlson.
So John Carlson will get in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. I don't know that he gets into the. And yes, he won a World Juniors gold.
Yeah. Fair. I was going to say, Static likes these conversations. I will say, guys, I think this is the best part of being a hockey fan and having this show. Like I said, we're live on YouTube Monday to Friday on this channel on Hot Take Hockey on YouTube. Static likes it, Jeremiah. He likes the debates. I like when it gets heated, a little hot conversation, you know?
He was not on the men's championship team. Dan, I got it right here. I'll go through the names. Dan Alfredson, Matt Sundin, PJ Axelson, Henrik Zetterberg, Nick Lidstrom, Peter Forsberg, Henrik Sundin, Samuel Paulson, Thomas Holdstrom, Mikhail Samuelson, Daniel Sedin, Kenny Janssen, Frederick Modin, remember Frederick Modin, former Leaf, Daniel Tarnquist, Christian Backman, Nicholas Kronwall, you've been Kronwall, remember that? Jorgen Janssen, Matthias Oland, Michael Telquist at goal, Stefan Liv at goal, Henrik Lundqvist at goal, Nicholas Havlid, Ronnie Sundin.
He was on there,
and
man,
what?
I think. No, that was the goalie. That's why, let's see. Is this the goalie? Maybe that's why he's confused.
No, I just read the whole roster to you guys. You cut me off. The last guy, Mika Hanela, but the 3 goalies were Lundqvist, Liv, and Telquist. Was not on the team, my man. Not on it.
Jeremiah, I got to show you something. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, share your screen. I got it right here.
I don't know what list you're looking at. I'm trying to figure out how to share I kind of forget. Here we go. I just pull it up here.
Yes, Jack Fleming. I agree. Crosby would have.
You guys see my screen?
That's what I have. That's exactly what I have.
Look at the very bottom. 0 points in 4 games. 18-year-old Nicholas Backstrom.
He's not on my list. He's not on that page. What page are you on? You on the Quantum Hockey page?
Yeah, I'm on Quant Hockey. He's at the very bottom. 2006 Ice Hockey World Championship gold medal team. If you go right to the bottom, Jeremiah, scroll all the way to the bottom.
No, I'm on the whole here. Undo your thing here. Watch.
Okay, so maybe we're looking at something different, but I'm telling you, 2006 team, I'm looking at it right now. It says Nick Backstrom on that World Championship team.
I don't have my own page. I'm looking at the same page. I'm looking at the same page.
The same page. Let's see it.
Look, I got it right here. I'm going to show you. Look, tell me where you see his name. Right here. I'll go as big as I can. Yeah,
go as top.
Go as big as top. Right there.
No, I'm saying go to the top where it's labeled what year this is.
2006 Team Sweden tournament stats.
So you're talking about Olympics. So that's why he was confused with what you said, because you said World Championship team. World Champions are different, and they won the gold that they happened to win that gold that year too.
This is the Olympics.
Yes.
Okay, the Olympics.
So when you said World Championship, that's what he thought.
Yeah. Okay. No one gives a shit about World Championships.
No, I know, but that's what you said. So that's why he was confused. That's the only reason I'm saying that, because when you said that, he was confused about the World Championship.
Yeah, I mean, guys like Jonathan Taves who've won the World Championship gold medal.
I know it's 2 different tournaments.
World Juniors and Stanley Cup. You can add to your resume or whatever. He was getting in because he doesn't have a long career. to me, a Hall of Famer is who are the best when they played the thing. Yes, I love Backy. He's a great player, but I just don't think he's going to get in the Hall of Fame, guys. Sorry.
That was pretty funny though. That's the miscommunication of all time between chat and and host right there.
Well, I said Olympics, so I don't know. We talked about World Juniors. So
yeah, I think it might have been just a slip, and then chat picked it up. But it's
again another thing I didn't want to spend any time talking about because
Johnny Laz's fault. Hey Johnny,
games.
I will say this, Jeremiah. If the best thing we get out of this debate and can move into the games, Johnny, now you owe us an appearance 100% after getting Jeremiah riled up tonight.
Well, we have 1,718 on my X, 125 in the YouTube, and one in 1846. What is going on?
Awesome. It's crazy tonight. Awesome. Well, so thank you guys so much. I'm going to let these guys run with the games. I don't know if Pearlo's coming or Rico's coming back. But,
no, he got so tired he had to go home. He's got to work in the morning, I think.
All good. I'll let you and Pearlo run with the games. But thank you guys again. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube, on the Hot Take Hockey YouTube channel. Follow along with all the guys on X. And please smash the like button. It's easy. It's subscribing and liking on YouTube is the easiest thing because you don't got to spend a dime. All right, that's my spiel. Jeremiah, Pearlo, appreciate you guys. Jeremiah, thanks for tonight. I didn't mean to get you riled up, man, but honestly, sometimes it's good to get the blood flowing on hockey chat.
No, I know we have so much like relevant shit to talk about. It's like, why are we wasting our time on this?
Hey, Johnny got us. He got us.
Yeah, guess what? Ovechkin and Kane will probably go in the Hall of Fame the same year. Kane's probably got 2 more years left. Ovi's got 2 more years left, probably. We'll see. Maybe Ovi plays beyond next season, but we'll see. They're both going to the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
All right.
So
John from Hot Take Hockey out, but appreciate you guys. Have a great night. I'll be back. I'll try to be back tomorrow, but regardless, man, you guys know I appreciate you and chat. Thank you so much for being in here and ask these guys good questions. Grill them.
Yeah, I really hope he gets another Stanley Cup before he retires. So that would be great.
All right. Peace,
Thank
guys.
you, John.
Appreciate you, John. Take care, my friend.
Yeah, Rico, are you coming back? Hopefully Rico's coming back. Okay. We got 14 games to preview tomorrow.
Yeah.
Lots of games. Okay, let's just get going. Hopefully Rico comes back.
Yeah.
Wild Bruins. Who do you like?
Bruins have the Rangers tomorrow. I don't think they're going to care as much about this one as the last one. So as the Rangers game, I'll take Minnesota. Come back from that horrible Montreal loss, and come back with a fire in their belly to beat Boston. What do you got, Rico, for that?
Sorry, boys. I have to do a little reset here. What game are we talking about?
We just started off with the first game of the night, Wild Bruins. Of course, Wild are going to be without Ryan Hartman, suspended 10 games. We found that tonight. That news broke before Frank came on. If you missed the Frank Seravalli interview, you can wind it back. Thanks to Hot Take Hockey for being on. He will be on with us sometimes, guys. No promises that he'll be on with us a lot because he does work like 6 jobs like Frank. So, Pearlo, you like the Wild at +110. I love it. I don't have the over-under here for you yet, but the over-under 5.5. Thank you, Pearlo. Thank you, Pearlo. Rico, where are you at on this game?
I kind of like the Bruins here. Low event game. I think Boston's going to try and just go balls out here. It's do or die here before the break for the Four Nations. So Boston better come out and win this game at home.
Okay. I'm rooting actively for our friend Mike's Bruins to lose because he wants them to get a high pick.
Yeah.
What if they trade Marchand if they're out of it? Anyway, that'll be something we talk about tomorrow. Blue Jackets Sabres. Man, the Kirill Marchenko leads them in goals, 21 goals. He's out with a broken jaw. Sabres had a nice win, 4-3. They held on to beat our friend Ken Alicia likes Wild over the Bruins 4-0. Blue Jackets, do they put it together +142 against the Sabres, or do the Sabres just win all these games now because it doesn't matter?
I like Buffalo in the spot. Tough road trip. Just travel for Columbus. I think Buffalo here. I mean, Columbus been out west. They went to Vegas, Utah, Dallas, and 2 nights later they're in Buffalo, and Buffalo's already waiting for them at home. So I like the Sabres in this spot.
Yeah, I like the Sabres too, and I like the over. I think they'll be lots of goals in it.
Okay, and the over on that game is 6.5. Okay, so you need 7 goals there, which they got against the problem with Buffalo is even if they jump out of a 5-0 lead, you probably win. If they win, it's 5-3 or something. So it's going to be a thing. I don't care if the chat talks politics, guys. We're just not going to bring it up. So we're just not going to talk about it because we don't care. So Senators
play
Lightning.
the good old hockey game by Stompin' Tom Connors. That's the national anthem of hockey games.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
right.
Exactly. I'm good with it. Isn't there a great tragically hip hockey song though? Like I feel like
play that stuff at the end of the game.
Yeah, we can play some tragically hip. Who doesn't like the tragically hip? I mean, okay.
50 Mission Cap is the name of the song you're talking about. 50 Mission Cap. Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, Bill Barocco scored the last goal, at least won the cup.
Yeah.
Then he died.
Didn't he die?
He died?
Yeah.
Yeah, he died in a plane crash.
The last goal he ever scored won the Leafs the cup. That was the tragic.
Yeah. Do you wonder if there's okay, never mind. Let's not go down the road. The Senators won tonight 5-2.
Yeah.
They're playing against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has played the least amount of games in the NHL.
Yeah.
Man, I don't hate Tampa Bay here. What do you guys think here? Tampa Bay host Ottawa, and Ottawa was in Nashville tonight, so it's not like a long road trip for him. It's very close. But
yeah.
I mean, as far as distance traveled between cities, blended like Tampa 5-3-2.
It's so hard to go against this Ottawa team right now, and this is going to be I think Allmark's going to be in for this game. So,
Jim, I don't think they trade him, buddy. Sorry, they're not going to trade Parenko. I really doubt it.
No.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. I don't think they trade him. But thanks for the question. Franco stays put, man. University of Alaska Fairbanks, by the way.
Think Ottawa can roll here again one more time, Rico? I don't know. It's a tough spot, and Allmark might be rusty, but it's hard to go.
Dude, Philip Forsberg, or not? Is it Phil? Not Philip Forsberg. Anton Forsberg been playing
well too. Yeah,
and they got Allmark back. Allmark is supposed to start, I think, for this game.
I know. That's why I'm a little dicey. I don't know. I want to go Tampa, but this Ottawa team's hard to go against right now. So, man, I'll just I'll take Ottawa's probably getting plus money. I'll put a little sliver on them because I just love the way they're playing right now. But
like 5.5 is the over under on that one too.
I'll take the over on that too. What do you like, Rico?
I like Tampa in regulation. This one, I don't think Allmark comes back into this game on a back-to-back and wins it for Ottawa. Shout out to David Perron for getting his first goal of the year tonight.
Yeah, I saw him firing the puck and heard he hadn't scored, but I remember he was injured. He is a huge get back for them. That guy is just a forecheck, and he goes into the corners and comes out with the puck. He's not the biggest guy. Dude, if Ottawa was out of it, I'd be trying to get him out of there if I was a playoff team.
David Perron's been in the league forever. I remember it was David Perron and David Backes scoring goals for the St. Louis Blues during their rebuild on that team. It just feels like it was 15 years ago. Like this guy never ages. So good for him. He was in the top 6 tonight and he potted one. Probably could have cashed big time on his goal prop, but yeah, no, I like Tampa in this spot. I mean, it's hard. Yeah. Tampa in regulation or puck line, take your pick. You're not going to get value on betting them to win straight up here.
David Perron has made $53,723,659 in his career.
Good.
He's won a cup. He was on a. I love that the team. He's never. I think he had never signed a free agent deal, but he had been with St. Louis, traded back to him 3 separate times until he signed the deal with Detroit, now with Ottawa. But that dude is
in Edmonton along the way, I think too. How many teams have Perron played for?
36 years old. Yeah. He was with Edmonton. Yep. I'll try to bring up his hockey reference.
Perron with the Oilers. Yeah,
so the next game is the Pittsburgh Penguins are home dogs against the New Jersey Devils. Devils got to be pissed they lost against the Sabres. That's not a good loss for them. They've not been good. Where are you at with that, guys? 6.5. This is a game I might not touch. I have not been impressed with the Devils. The one thing I'll say, and just talking with Singsy and stuff, I think they've really been hurting with Heischer out. He's still out. Markstrom's obviously injured. That just puts all that pressure on Allen, and then they're missing Eric Halla too. So Pittsburgh's only missing Gino, and I almost feel like that doesn't hurt them. But they did just trade Drew O'Connor and Pettersson. So
that's why I'm on New Jersey here. I just don't think that defense is going to hold up. But I don't. Yeah, I'll take New Jersey. If they can't get up for this game and win this game, I swear to God, there is something seriously going on.
Yeah, I still hope we see New Jersey and Carolina in the first round. I hope the Caps hang on to the first spot in the Metro. I think they will. Just they've been playing really good. But even in games they're losing, they're getting a point. So, like, I don't know where you guys are on that one. I'm a huge fan of that matchup. So, yeah, Rico, where are you at on that game?
Yeah, I'll take Nico Dawes coming in this game if Allen doesn't start. He's got a 1,000% save percentage. I guess he came in for Jake Allen against Buffalo and made 7 saves. So, Nico Dawes, a 24-year-old Dutchman.
Yeah,
and you can't just rely on Allen down the stretch. So, I mean, Markstrom.
It's a tough game to count, but I would lean New Jersey for sure.
Dude, that Markstrom is brutal, but this is what we said at the beginning of the year. You have 2 34-year-old goaltenders. You got to hope they can carry you through playing 55, 40, and 60, whatever. You know, there's 82 games in a season. You know, divide it up, however you do it. You know, you need one of those guys healthy going in the playoffs, and preferably the one you want healthy is Jacob Markstrom. I just feel bad for the Devils fans because I know that if Markstrom can't get back healthy before the playoffs, it's going to be a tough one. I do think they can handle this Penguins team. Excuse me, I apologize. Panthers are in Washington. Panthers just visited the White House for their, thing to do with the president. That happens with every team that wins a cup or a championship for all the sports. And Matthew Tkachuk spoke to the president. I don't know if you guys saw that. Anyway, it's all over socials if you're interested. Jim Johnson says his hope is the Pens and Bruins miss the playoffs. Well, I know a lot of Bruins fans that are hoping they miss the playoff for sure too. So doing good, Andrew. Great to see you change your profile photo, buddy. Didn't almost recognize you there, buddy. Hope you're doing good. Yeah. So how do you guys feel here? Panthers, Caps. And
Panthers have won a few in a row. Washington definitely needs a win here. I think this is a bounce back spot for the Caps. So without looking too much into this one, I'll take Washington on the surface here.
Yeah. This is going to be fun to watch. I want to watch this game. But I think it's just going to be a drag it out game. I think I'll go with the under on this one with Thompson and that. Florida will get a lot of shots on him, and he'll probably save most of them. And it will be just a fun game to watch.
So just to give you guys an update, obviously the Caps are missing Nick Backstrom, TJ Oshie, and Sonny Milano. Those have been the injuries they've had. Samoskevich is out with an illness. That's all Florida's missing. And he's actually been solid for them. I hear his name a lot. Washington is second in goals for, Florida is fourth. Washington is fifth in goals allowed. Florida is 11th. Washington is second in differential. Florida is 7th. Washington's power play is 11th. Florida's is 7th. Pretty even teams, honestly, across the board. Washington has the third best penalty kill. Florida has the 16th. Florida has taken the 29th fewest, or I think penalties. I think they're 29th in the league, so that's not great. And then their face-off percentage, Florida is like 23rd, so that's not great. But outside of that, and then save percentage, that's kind of interesting with Florida. They're at 19th. So 8-9-0, not great.
This is going to be a great storyline to this game. I think it's going to be Florida and playing against Washington. Washington's being like, we're the best team in the East, and we're moving forward this year. And Florida's like not so fast type of game.
That's what it feels like to me.
We're still the best team in the East, so I think it's just going to be tight. I like Pearlo's under. I don't think you're going to see explosiveness each way. I think you're just going to have two teams feeling each other out and being like, okay, yeah, you are that good, or yeah, we're still that good. Yeah, I like the under.
I think it's going to be an awesome game. It's going to be an awesome game. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to watch that one.
I can't believe we still have 1,952 people in the chat. Could 1869 on X.
Plus, you check in with the chat, and everybody's
it's X. Well, Ken Alicia says, I want to ask, what is going on in the Atlantic Division? Only one team is completely out of it. Yeah, I just think that all those teams are very close, Ken. And I think everybody got exponentially better in the East by adding pieces. And then some of the very top teams like Florida lost pieces, but they've come down to kind of the pack. So I think you have a lot of evenly matched teams. You know, the Leafs look really good. How about the Leafs signature win for them this year against Edmonton on the weekend? I was so stoked for them. I didn't get to finish watching the game because
I took them against my Oilers that game too.
Yeah. Well, good for them, man. They need it. Okay.
Teams get up.
You guys feel good about the Caps Panthers picks? You guys ready to move on?
Yeah, under for me. I don't side
Golden Knights Islanders. Islanders plus 124. I just don't see how the Golden Knights are going to be very upset with themselves after losing that game that they had the other day. I would not put. Was it yesterday? They lost to the Rangers. I think they were winning that game for a while, 2-1 or something, and then the Rangers came back. Obviously, JT Miller. That's a nice injection into their lineup. I still think the Rangers are going to have an uphill battle to make the playoff just because of all the teams in front of them. They just went on too big of a skid there. Like it's hard to recover from that big of a loss from time to time. But how are you guys feeling about Golden Knights Islanders? But again, Islanders won 7 in a row before they lost the other day, right? So
you want to go ahead, Rico, on this one?
Yeah, I will. I'll back the team like a Golden Knights against a team that just went on a long win streak and then they lose one. It's hard to get right back on that train if you're an Islanders team and start like going again. And like as soon as you get that first loss after going on a run, it just weighs on you a little bit for a couple days or so. So, and especially Vegas coming off that loss against the Rangers 3 in a row now after this. So yeah, it's a Vegas spot definitely in this game, I think.
Everything he just said, I agree with.
So here's my only concern. Vegas is 2-5-3 in their last 10, but Bruce Cassidy has said, hey, it's not been an effort problem. We just haven't got bounces. Sometimes that's the way it goes. That's my only concern. And Islanders are basically the hottest team in the last 10. They're 7-3-0. The only other team that's that hot is the Caps, 7-1-2, the Panthers, 7-3-0, and the Ottawa Senators, who won again tonight, 7-2-1. By the way, Ottawa's won 5 in a row now. So they along with Winnipeg's 8-2-0. My bad. Winnipeg's won 6 in a row. So they're right there with the best records. And Dallas is 7-3-0, and they've won 5 straight too. So
I just think they've been working with a patchwork defense for so long, and they've been doing fantastic, but it's starting to wear on now. And I think they kind of.
Hey, how about our buddy Nick Maroc too, Glassbanger? When he gets out of jail, the Stars hopefully they've won a lot, and he's gonna be like, "What happened to my basketball team, man?" It's gonna be crazy.
Watch out for him when he gets out of jail.
Oh my God. Hey, you know what's cool though about that whole trade? And we got Pete B in here. He's an LA Kings fan. So the largest Slovenian hockey star of all time is Anze Kopitar, and probably the largest star from Slovenia ever is the kid that Luka Doncic, the basketball player. So that's pretty crazy, man. Yep, number 1 in the league, disgruntled wheat. The Jets are looking awesome, man. Hey, you will not get an argument. Everybody knows I'm a Washington Capitals supporter. I'd love to see the Jets win a Stanley Cup, man. That fan base. They lost their team. They got them back. It would be cool. There's no one here that would be sad for that. Okay, Oilers Blues. Yeah, I think the Blues are kind of mid, and the Oilers are good. So the Oilers are going to claim. They're going to try to hold on to that top spot, man. The fact is they're tied with Vegas, and they've been 2-5-3, and Edmonton's only been 6-3-1. But it's like, I don't know, man. Like, this is a big game for them. Vegas needs to win. Oilers need to win. What do you guys feel?
Yeah, it's sort of
St.
a
Louis
letdown spot after playing
4-6-0. 4-6-0. Yeah, letdown spot. They lost the game though. You think they'll?
Yeah, I know, but still, that's like a huge game, and now you're playing like a random game against St. Louis, and then you got Chicago right after that. But that being said, I just think they have too much talent, and they're going to win it anyways, no matter what about the spot. I think St. Louis is on the down. So plus, St. Louis have the champions the next game against Florida, so they could even be looking a hell of a little bit. So.
Hell yeah, JRP 10-10. Hell yeah, let's go, baby. Let's go, Caps. Rico, how do you feel?
Both teams on the front end of back-to-backs. I'll just take the under here. I think it's just a low event game that both teams know they got to go into somebody else's rink tomorrow. I know St. Louis is going to be at home the next day. Yeah, no, I like the under here more than anything.
Yeah, I could see that. Actually, I like that one too.
And that 6.5, that's a high number. I don't hate it. Hurricanes, Jets. Speaking of the Jets, disgruntled Wheats Jets. Hurricanes at Jets. Boy, this will be a good game, boys. Plus 102. Jets are home dogs. Nah, dude, I like the Jets here. You give them the Jets at home dogs? Nah, I'm taking the Jets all day. In Carolina, even with the random trade, I still have been a little underwhelmed with them. They got time to figure it out. They're 6-2-2 in their last 10, not terrible, but they lost. They're coming off a loss. I think the Jets are going to be riding high. Blended says Canes in overtime 4-3. We call that the draw on this show, Blended. And then Jim Johnson said Jets 4-2. The over under in that game, speaking of which, is 5.5. Definitely, I might actually take the over.
Yeah, because usually Jets don't fly when the Hurricanes are around, but I think Winnipeg takes this one at home.
I'm not so sure. They're coming back from that. That's a really good Eastern road trip. This is going to be tough. You got to get that energy back they had on the road all over again. I think this is going to be a tough one. I'll take the draw, but I like more what you said. I like the over here.
You getting a home team that's 8-2-0, and you're getting plus money. I just say throw a little bit on the Jets, $5, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I get you, but I like the draw. I like the draw more than anything here. I think this is going to be a draw game. Both of them will happy to take a point home here.
Yeah, and that's what happened with the Caps. The Jets were up 4-1 though against Caps. The Caps came back and tied at 4-4, and then got a point in overtime again. So I don't want to speak eloquently on that. Ken says I can never pick the Soilers St. Louis shootout win 3-2 Blues. Okay, we're a little bit ahead of you there, Ken. Maple Leafs Flames. Maple Leafs Flames over under 5.5. Maple Leafs Flames.
Pearlo, go ahead.
I like the Flames, man.
I know.
I like the Flames.
Flames at plus 124, dude. Yeah.
They are fighting like Toronto better go in there looking for a war, because Calgary is playing every team like it's a war right now. It doesn't matter if it's Seattle.
Hey, how about Jonathan Huberdeau? 20 goals this year. He's having a great season. That's awesome.
We were talking about that yesterday. He's now in the press box on the All Pearlo team. I might have to trade him off. I like the guy.
Yeah, he's playing well. It's good. Yeah. Jim Johnson likes we're going to get Tiger Town. We're going to talk about your Detroit Red Wings. They're playing the Kraken. Flyers at Utah Hockey Club.
Oh, sorry. Give me the Leafs. Flames 4 games in 6 nights. Leafs are going into Calgary and win that game.
Oh, I didn't know they were on 4 games in 6. Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah,
anyway,
stick with your Flames. Let's keep going
on.
Let's
keep going.
We got a ton of games, guys. Flyers, Utah Hockey Club. Flyers, Utah Hockey Club. Plus 114, the Flyers visiting the Utah Hockey Club. Man, I don't know what to make of Utah. Every time I think they're back they lose some games.
Give me Philly. Utah's better on the road. Until they show me they can start winning consistently at home, I'll take them. And they're too banged up. No Cooley, no Gunther. I mean, you got Kerfoot playing top line center there. Not having it. I'll take Philly in the
I
torch.
can't pick a name. Yeah, so this is who Philly is missing. Ristolainen, Kuzmenko, who they just traded for, already banged up, I guess. Not injury related, but he's out. So they must be dealing with visa issues or something. Zamula, Peltier, that I guess they're visa issues for those guys, so they're not on board yet. Nick Delorier, Owen Tippett, Ryan Ellis, obviously, and then Ryan Poehling. Ellis has been out for years for them. He just listed.
Yeah.
Dylan Gunther is day-to-day. Logan Cooley is out. Robert Bertuzzo is out. And Sean Dursey, they're missing him, but they've been missing Dursey for most of the year.
This is an AHL matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, if you like the plus money, I've liked how the Flyers have been playing. Utah is 3-5-2 in the last 10, and Philly is 4-5-1 and have lost 3 in a row.
This is a draw game all over it. Just call the draw, go to the next game.
Okay, Avalanche Canucks. Oh, Ken says that VC issues they're still in Calgary. Okay. Avalanche Canucks. Avs Canucks. And I don't know who's out for Avs. Landeskog, obviously. Nichushkin's still out. Pullman out. Quinn Hughes day-to-day for the Canucks. If Quinn Hughes isn't playing, I don't know how you take the Canucks.
I'm taking Colorado.
Yep. The Canucks are a home dog. So,
yeah.
By the way, who leads the Canucks in goals?
Garland?
No.
I thought it would be somebody different. That's why you're asking.
G.T. Miller.
No.
No.
Well, maybe Miller did, but he's not there anymore. I don't think Miller did. Jake DeBrusk. Yeah, blended family got it. DeBrusk.
Nice.
DeBrusk, 18 goals. Yep.
Okay, I'm going with the chat here. I'm picking Colorado. I'm rolling with the chat in this one.
Yep. I think everybody's going with Colorado. Okay. Red Wings at Kraken. We had some Red Wings fans in there.
Tough spot for the Red Wings, but I'm not going to go against them right now. They're too hot, and Seattle looks like
6-game win streak for the Red Wings. 7-2-1 in their last.
Seattle
10.
looks just absolutely horrible.
Yeah, they're bad.
Me and Pearlo shared that sentiment last night watching a Kraken game. And like, they got that
dude,
disallowed goal, and all of a sudden Calgary just started pouring it on. They just couldn't come back. There was nothing there. Jaden Schwartz is your number one offensive guy with Chandler Stevenson.
And he's the one that looks the best on the ice all the time.
Jaden Schwartz, by the way, leads the Kraken with goals, 18.
I know.
I know McCann has disappeared. They have just missed Jordan Eberle like something fierce, and they are not getting the contributions they need from Shane Wright, Matty Beniers. They're Chandler Stevenson started to step it up here now, finally. But look, I love Stevenson. He's a 3 or a 2 on a winning team. He's just not a 1. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how you're on anything, but the Red Wings, by the way, are dogs, road dogs, plus 102. Lock in the money for the Red Wings right now.
It's been a long road trip, and they think they might be tired, but it doesn't matter with Seattle. They suck. They suck too bad.
Yeah, they're pretty terrible. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when Eberle's not been in the lineup for them. Aces 96. He's been out. He's been injured for most of the year. I think he only played like the first couple of games, but he will score goals for them. So
I don't mind the under here. If you can get like a 6.5, I don't mind the under in this game.
Yeah, so they're missing Riker Evans, Jordan Eberle, Yanni Gord. That Yanni Gord stuff, that was messed up too, because he's probably a guy they would have moved at the trade deadline. And then JT Compher and Jeff Petrie are out. Probably a benefit to the Detroit Red Wings that Jeff Petrie's out. No slight on Jeff Petrie. Stars at Ducks. Stars at Ducks. Stars at Ducks.
Give me a reason to take the Ducks here.
Plus 190? That's a good reason. I actually have
liked how playing that bad. I mean,
I actually Dallas is 7-3-0 and won 5 in a row. But every time I watch their games, they feel mid, but they've played well recently, so I can't get too mad. The Anaheim Ducks are 5-4-1 in their last 10. They're 12-12 at home. They're a minus 30 differential. I worry about Heiskanen being out for the Stars. And the Ducks, do the Ducks have it? So Heiskanen, Sagan, Lundqvist all out for the Stars. Brock McGinn, Troy Terry. But Troy Terry's out with an illness. He could be good. So
Ducks have won 4 of their last 5. I know they weren't good teams.
Yeah. But is I mean, what is Dallas like? I don't know what Dallas is this year. If it's plus money, and I like the Ducks at home, what do you think, Pearlo?
I'm going to slide a little bit on the Ducks, but I think now looking at it, Dallas has been winning by scoring goals like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of contributions from Johnston
So
and
give me the over, and
Robertson again.
I'll throw some pizza money on the Ducks because I don't want to take Dallas in regulation.
But I think if you would have said, go ahead, Rico. Sorry.
No, sorry. I'll take Dallas here because it's Tuesday night, Anaheim game, and then they don't play till Friday. They go across the freeway to LA. So I think they got 3 days off between this. I think they want to finish off the Ducks and probably go puck line here so they can enjoy the next 3 days in the same basically vicinity. If they lose this game against the Ducks, I don't think it's going to be enjoyable 2 or 3 days off for Dallas when they play LA next game. I don't know. I think maybe Pierre DeBoer might be a little bit, let them go down to,
Yeah, you could give them a carrot. Like, you got 3 days.
Hey, boys, finish this game
we can go early to LA.
Okay, you guys are talking over each other. Come on.
We're saying
stop talking over each other.
Yeah,
okay.
No, I'm good. Give me Dallas.
Kelly says, but Toronto and McTavish have been scoring, and she's Ducks will win. Dallas can go games with low scoring. Yep, that's true. She's giving us our picks for the Leafs Flames, 2-5-2 Leafs Flames. Okay, final game of the night. Habs at Sharks. Habs have kind of walked it back a little bit now. They've lost a few. They have kind of lost 3 in a row. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. San Jose, they keep trading players away. They're 2-8-0 in their last. I don't know how I wouldn't even bet this game.
Habs or nothing.
Yeah, I think the Habs is the only one they're going to win on this road trip, but I think they'll win this one. They've had a couple bad games. Now they're going up against a San Jose team that basically has no defense anymore. And so
good call, Kelly. Celebrating.
You can get minus 156 money line. That's fair to me. I'll take that. Yep.
All right, boys. Let's talk. Was there anything over the weekend you wanted to talk about? I mean, we had 18 games, the 9 on Sunday. I don't think there was any shockers. I mean, Rangers with a nice comeback win against the Golden Knights. There wasn't any shock. I mean, the Ducks beat the Habs, so that's one thing. The Ducks beat the Habs at home in Anaheim on Sunday. So was that a home and home for them then? Oh, hell yeah. Oh, no. Oh, Sharks. They're playing the Sharks. My bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Was there anything? Yeah, Ducks for Cup 2029 says Ducks young guys are finally finding their offense. Yeah, it's nice to see, man. And McTavish has been healthy. He looks like he's really fit now, liking seeing that. So
he looks good.
We talked about Ranger Jonathan Quick getting the 400th win. Yep, that's awesome. Yeah, I love the extension for Logan Thompson, Kelly. That's awesome. Yeah, we get it. Jonathan Quick, American legend.
I got something.
Yeah.
The Calder race right now, Celebrini, Lane Hudson are pretty much the front runners, but Dustin Wolf, when I looked yesterday at FanDuel,
yeah, he deserves.
Hit the sponsor, FanDuel. You'll sponsor us eventually, but plus 900 to get Dustin Wolf. And I've heard on radio station lately he's the front runner for the Calder.
Dude, if Calgary makes the playoffs, I don't know how you're going to be able to keep him out of winning that Calder.
I know. So why wouldn't you?
Lock in Dustin Wolf at plus 900 right now. If you have $100 you want to flush down the toilet, go put it on Dustin Wolf. Because that's what do you win if you bet 100 at plus 900?
You're gonna make a lot of money. Yeah.
What do you make? What do you make? What do you make?
Well, you'll make 900 on 100.
Yes.
But the thing is, Celebrini's not used to this grueling schedule. Lane Hudson are wearing, they wear out during the, after the Four Nations. And if Calgary sneaks into the playoffs, Dustin Wolf and Vladar hasn't been the best, so Dustin Wolf's gonna have to carry Calgary to the playoffs. And if he does, it's not often the goalie wins a Calder like Pearlo said, but this could be the year.
Who's the last goalie to win a Calder?
I don't know. Look it up, man. You're the host.
Yeah.
Fleury would be one, but I don't know if he'd be the last.
Anybody in the chat? Who's the last goalie to win the Calder? Anybody in the chat before Beard gets it?
I have it up. I have it up.
Wouldn't it?
Tony Esposito won it in 69-70. Tom Barrasso Tom
Fleury won
Barrasso,
it
by the
for-
way, Tom Barrasso
Right.
got in the Hall of Fame when I was there. Marty Brodeur, 93-94.
It's got to be
Of
somebody.
Evgeny Nabokov.
Steve Mason.
Evgeny Nabokov. Andrew Raycroft for the Bruins. Shout out Andrew Raycroft. Steve Mason. I think our guy who said Steve Mason in the chat.
Oh, I forgot about Steve Mason.
809. By the way, Steve Mason works for the Nashville Predators. So, yep, Steve Mason was the last guy to win in 08.
Wow.
0809. Yeah,
Wow.
Steve Mason. Shout out Steve Mason. Won. How old was Steve Mason? He looks old now. He was born in 88. He won it. How old was he? Okay. How old was he in 2008? He was like 30.
No.
2008.
37.
Minus 19.
Who wins a Calder?
88.
37
He was
years old?
20. He was 20, my bad.
Yeah, 20.
Okay. He looks old as crap, though. Okay. All right.
Excuse me.
He's 37 now, Kelly's saying. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, he's not that old, actually. He looks much older. I guess it wore him out though, because
Calder does that to you.
I guess. So he won. Okay, so he wins the Calder in 08 with the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, he's a left-handed goalie, wasn't
Yeah, he won it with the
he?
Blue
Hands are off the
Jackets.
keyboard right now. I'm just remembering Steve.
Okay.
Lefty goalie, right?
Huh. Yeah. I think he's left-handed. Steve Mason is a blah blah blah. You know, he's right-handed, so he's a goofy foot,
Right.
as they call goalie.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good
So
call. Paul Ken,
did-
Dustin Wolf's stats are better than Marty Brodeur when he won the Calder.
so he played for the London Knights for 3. Okay. I don't understand this. What's the OMHA? Oakville Rangers? What is that? AAA midget?
Ontario Minor Hockey Association.
Yeah.
Okay. Then he played for the NDJCHL Grimsby Peach Kings. What's NDJCHL?
Manitoba.
NDJCHL. I have no idea what that is.
North Dakota or something? I don't know.
No, I don't know. Then he played for the London Knights for the OHL. Then he played for the Petrolia Jets, the WOHL. What's the WOHL?
WOHL.
Oh, look at Sherry Radway saying Sens are now 2 points behind the Leafs. Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
They're coming.
It's going to be Battle of Ontario is epic. By the way,
I don't know what's
40, I don't know what's going on, guys, but the later we stay on, the more people we get on X. We have 2,062 people watching live on my X. 81. I love it. I'm glad. I guess they're finding our channel, man. I love it. On X, they're finding me, I guess.
People want to talk hockey before they go to bed, and we're the only ones on.
Well, on the West Coast, it's not bedtime, dude. It's only time.
Sure. Well, you can tell where everybody's from by just.
No, I can't, but I'm guessing that majority of the people we're
that's
getting now, if we're growing in numbers, I'm guessing they're coming from a world that's awake. So, yeah, let's get some likes.
We can get the one from the land of the rising sun.
We still have 70. That's it. It's here. That's us. Come from the land of the ice and snow with a midnight sun with a harshman's blow. I don't want to get. Oh, the holla, I am coming. Okay. By the way, did you guys see the Fire concert they did? The Fire Aid concert? Did anybody watch the Fire Aid concert?
No.
Pink sang Led Zeppelin.
At the
So
Grammys?
good. No, it was the Fire Aid concert. I know the Grammys were like last night.
Led Zeppelin. I've heard her sing Led Zeppelin before. Yeah, that was pretty.
Okay,
cool.
but anyway, you could go look out for the Fire Aid concert they did in LA. They brought all these acts, like Red Hot Chili Peppers played, like all these bands. The Fire Aid concert, it was like Saturday or Friday. I think it was Friday. Early out here in Los Angeles. Yeah, PB, let's go. LA, man. I hope everything's going good there, man. I grew up a Dodgers and Lakers fan, so I root for those teams. And I like the Kings too, man. I like everybody. I like everything. We root for everybody. So Ann Wilson sings Led Zeppelin. Yeah, Ann Wilson sings everything well.
That was beautiful when she did
Ann
that.
Wilson is she sang when they got inducted into the presidential thing or something. Anyway, yeah, Hasek was the rookie. Okay, guys, anything you wanted to talk about over the weekend? Obviously, trades. There was a trade right before we came on.
CC.
Nope. No.
That one. Yeah. It was a minor trade, right?
Yeah. Minnesota sent a guy to Utah. Wild trade Sammy Walker.
Yeah.
This is from Tyler Cool.
Yeah.
From Sammy Walker for future considerations.
I think Sammy Walker's from the Utah area or something.
No, he's from Minnesota.
Oh, is he? Oh,
yep.
Okay.
He's from the Twin Cities. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
he actually played for the Gophers. He played for the Minnesota Golden Gophers in college. Yep. So, yeah, there's a great article. I'll drop it in the chat for you guys if you want to read about it from Daily Faceoff. Shout out those guys. Jeremiah, you are backup singer for Lido. No, I'm not a singer.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a stunt double for ZZ Top.
I think all those guys are not alive with us anymore.
That's why you're just rolling right in there. The band keeps going. The beard keeps rolling.
Okay, I don't have the voice for it. Okay. All right, guys. I really appreciate everybody. We had an unbelievable show, almost 2 hours. Thank you to Frank Seravalli again, Hot Take Hockey, John Viveros, Pearlo, and Rico. Normally, they'll be with us on interviews. We don't want to do that to them too often, but tonight we had to do that. Thank you for being flexible, guys. Apologies you couldn't be on with Frank. But, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, the Lincoln's art ceremony. Yes, that's right. And then which did she sing at the LA concert? Yeah, Ann Wilson's amazing, man. You know who's aged like a fine wine too is the Bangles lead singer, Susanna Hoff. Who looks amazing. She's in her 60s, sounds amazing. It's like, oh my God, you lived the right life. And you know who else? I just saw an awesome documentary on Pat Benatar. Been married to the same guy for like 40 years. Pat Benatar kicks ass too. Let's go. So anyway, we're talking about all this old music. So yeah, we will be live for Deadline Day. Adam Kerr, Hot Take Hockey will be on there. We're live for all the big events. Deadline Day, NHL trade, free agent frenzy. We'll be live for all that stuff. And I will be at the Frozen Four this year. So yes, we're going to be traveling. I'll be at the Hockey Hall of Fame hopefully this year too, and the Stanley Cup Final. I'm going to try to be at those events. And then, would like to be the Winter Classics too. Those are great media things. So, yep. If there's we'll break trades every night. If there's trades, we've been live. We were live last Friday or 2 Fridays ago when the thing broke. And with Rantanen, thanks to Frank Seravalli, we've had a lot of great trades. It's been nice. It's been good. We've had a lot of fun to talk about. So I appreciate everybody. Yep. Kelly, is Hot Take not John's channel? Nope. Hot Take is still John's channel. Hot Take Hockey was with us tonight. If you back up the interview, you'll see John. He was on there with Frank Seravalli. For all you guys on YouTube, or go check it out. You can rewatch the stream on X too. So yeah, I'm just working with John now to put out daily content. We're doing a daily hockey show. There's so much to talk about hockey. It's just hard for John to do it every day. He'll still do trade videos and everything, but we'll be live. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Peace. Remember, this show is for puckheads, by puckheads, for puckheads.